Hello guys, and welcome back to another Jensen Media video. Today we are going to go ahead and explore the imaginary world of Grand Theft Auto 6. Well, imaginary because there isn't one yet. I'm sure Rockstar is working on it right now, and I'm also sure that we are all dreaming up of things we want in it. So just consider this a list of stuff I would love to personally see in a Grand Theft Auto 6. This is just what I want and in no way factual at all. Also, the list is in no particular order, so let's go ahead and get started. First off, map size. Let me have a big open world. I'm talking about Witcher 3 style open world here. Grand Theft Auto 5 had a pretty huge map. There was so much to see and do within the world. Rockstar has truly gotten really good at creating fully imagined and fleshed out maps. But I want it even bigger and better. I mean, it should be go bigger or go home, right? It's of course a huge trend for gamers to always want bigger and better things, including map sizes. With even more things to explore and do, you can't really go wrong here. Because that's what it's all about, being able to do as many things as possible. So if we have a bigger map, we can do more activities, cover more ground, probably have more missions, and just an overall more variety. If anyone can knock it out of the park, I believe it could be Rockstar. And I have absolutely no doubt that they will bring something bigger and better to the table. Next up, I want a bigger and better creation tool. The Grand Theft Auto 5 community has always released a ton of cool creations. To highly imaginative racetracks, to awesome, zany, and varied game modes. And I just want to see them be able to push it even farther with 6. Maybe give the option to create your own maps even. That would be really awesome, as I love a game that has a lot of creation tools within it to create your own stuff. I would love to even be able to push it a bit farther than that and create your own weapons and cars within the game modes. I know that's asking for a lot, and it definitely is way too ambitious to really expect. But that's why it's a wish list, right? Give me the option to fully create what I want. Create objects even, perhaps. Things I can come up with from scratch that would give my map an edge. This would give the game truly endless possibilities. Imagine creating an old-time gangster mafia map with old-school cars, shops, and clothing. Think of it as like a Dreams but Grand Theft Auto style. And really, that's just a dream. I know it probably is not going to happen, but hey, a guy can wish, right? I want a bigger and better story. Now, the story is one of the weakest points with Grand Theft Auto 5 in my opinion. I don't know how everyone else felt about it, but to me it was just all over the place and very convoluted with how 3 people pulled the story in all different kind of directions with 3 different lives. It felt a little bit disjointed and like the game was just trying to pull you in every direction. I don't want a story to do that. I want a story that's going to stick to its guns and not become a mess along the way. This may also mean maybe sticking to one character. I'm not sure how I feel about it because I did love having multiple characters in 5, so I'm not saying you have to do that. Maybe just have a group of people that are all on the same page. I am fine with having multiple characters to control as long as it doesn't make the story become muddled and messy. I want something very satisfying for my narrative. Next up, more customization. I want to be able to walk into a gun store and fully deck out my guns the way I want. I want to be able to paint them the way I want, put different sights on them, just fully make them mine. I also would love to be able to roll up to a car shop and fully customize my ride even farther. More paints, more hoods, more wheels, more interiors, lights, colors, everything. I love customizing in games, and I love just going down to the very little nitty-gritty details, because it helps immerse me into the world. If I can create something that's completely unique to me, then that's awesome. Maybe create our own paint jobs on cars. I remember doing all these crazy paint jobs in Forza Motorsport, and it was awesome. I think it would really be awesome to be able to do something similar in Grand Theft Auto 6. That just sounds really cool to me. Next, I want a better, more fleshed out cast of characters. Rockstar has been slacking a little bit in the supporting cast department. There were a few decent ones here and there, but a lot were just entirely forgettable. There weren't a whole lot of standouts. Rockstar does a great job at making main characters. They just really need to hone that skill for the surrounding cast, as that would be what makes me go back to the game time and time again. Next up, more and more buildings and details of all kinds. Grand Theft Auto 5 had a ton of storefronts and housing for sure, but they were not very different. A lot of things they sold mostly felt the same. The clothes were not all that varied. Most of the housing just felt like slight variations of each other, which were all just a little bit dull. Give me all kinds of clothing options. Give me all kinds of colors for those clothing options. Give me a good variety of different housing. I want that customization to run so deep. I don't want my house to look like everyone else's house. It's a given that the exteriors are all going to look pretty much the same, but when it comes to inside, let me deck my house out the way I want to. Also, give me more interiors in general. Like, let me walk into a lot more buildings here and there. It makes the world feel more alive and fleshed out. Let me go into a coffee shop or a burger shop. Let me just do anything I want to do. And I know it's really ambitious to ask for every single building to have an interior and be enterable. That's just not something that they can possibly do. Someday we'll probably see it from video games, but right now, we get what we get. I would be happy to just be able to enter more buildings. Next, more destruction. What I mean is bigger explosions, even more twisted car damage, and building damage would also be pretty awesome. Could you imagine doing a mission and having battlefield level of damage on buildings? We are about to enter a new console generation, and the tech is there for something like this. I mean, if they can do it in Battlefield games, why not have damage set pieces like that in a Grand Theft Auto game? I want to be able to wreak havoc into the buildings, see my car fold and crunch like a Burnout game. I just love all that little details like that. I love destructive environments. It makes the game so much more fun and realistic. I definitely just love destruction. It just sounds so much fun to me in a Grand Theft Auto game. Next, have an awesome soundtrack. I remember San Andreas and Vice City's soundtrack so well because they both had a plethora of hits that just knocked it out of the park. It made the games so much more memorable to me. You're going to be spending a lot of time in your car, hence the name of the game, so why not just have a really good music soundtrack that complements that roller coaster ride? Hopefully they'll hit it out of the park this time around because in my opinion, Grand Theft Auto was lacking a memorable soundtrack. It just didn't have it compared to the previous games. Next up, a variety of missions. Now, I will not say that Rockstar's structure and how they do their missions are bad because they actually do have a pretty nice variety going on already, but I think they could push it farther. I want a lot of different missions that vary and mix up the gameplay a lot. If I am not doing the same thing over and over, I'm gonna play a game longer and ultimately probably keep coming back to that game time and time again. Grand Theft Auto 5 had a really nice variety of missions here and there were quite a few that were really memorable, but I think Grand Theft Auto 6 could definitely push that envelope even more, and I really hope that they do. The last thing I want that I really don't think we're going to get, but I can only hope we do, is console mods. PC is where we get a lot of crazy stuff in the Grand Theft Auto games, and it probably isn't going to happen for consoles, but I wish they would bring those mods over to the consoles. The Grand Theft Auto games, Fallout, Skyrim, and so many other games have such a very rich and vast modding community on the PC, even though Bethesda does have some console mods for their games now. So it's not like it isn't completely possible. It's just something I would absolutely love to see and would add some very zany and awesome moments to the consoles. It would pretty much extend the replayability of the game, and it could actually be a lot of fun. Even after we are done with the game, if we had mods to mess around with and just wreak extra havoc on the world, that would just bring the replayability over the top for me. I don't see it happening really, but it would be cool to see. And that's really it, guys. Those are my top ones. I know there are a ton more ideas out there and things that people want. Let me know what you guys personally want below. in a Grand Theft Auto 6 game. I love to have discussions with you guys, so let's keep it going below. Like always, thanks for watching, and please stay safe out there. If you like this content, check out other videos of mine, and don't forget to subscribe. You have a nice rest of your day.